Hello?
Robin.
Yes.
Hi, Rabbi Bellinsky here. How are you?
Hi, Rabbi Bellinsky. I'm okay. How are you?
Um, well as I could be given the circumstances. I'm not sure if you're appraised.
I answered because I saw those emails. I'm sorry this is happening.
I appreciate that. I'm sure you've been busy, and I know that after the elections, I'm sure things are getting settled down still. So I don't hold it against you. You haven't been back in touch. I just thought I would do my diligence and try and reach out again. And just a couple minutes before 5:00, and I have not been arrested yet, which is good news. But I'm just kind of this whole thing is disconcerting, and I wanted to try and before the weekend just to try and figure out what I could do, and if there's any way to invoke the help of my legislative representatives and senators. And
Representative Amabile saw the emails as well, and she was in touch with the county attorney in GILPIN, and they say you are going to be, this warrant is going to be executed, and the best thing for you, and I understand why you don't want to, I'm just giving you the position, is that you should turn yourself in.
Turn myself in to what, though? I mean, I sent
I know, I understand that, but with an attorney and representation and face the charges, because
I don't have
they seem determined to execute the warrant for this, whatever it is in ELBERT County. We haven't seen the charges. No way.
Well, I haven't seen the charges either, and I sent a message out to Sheriff Tim Norton earlier today, asking to, invoking the constitutional protections and rights to know what the what the nature of the charges are. This is quite telling that this happens like literally a day after I submitted my second criminal complaint. I mean, there's so much evidence to show all the wrongdoing, and I've done nothing wrong. I mean, there's criminals out there that they're setting free on bond and doing all kinds of things, and they want to execute a warrant for an innocent father who's just sitting in his home trying to see his children, trying to get justice for this terrible injustice that's been going on. I mean, it's just and by the way, I don't have an attorney. In Colorado. I mean, I have no resources. They've denied my unemployment for 3.5 months.
They'll appoint a public defender for you if you've got to face charges. But I think you have to just, calmly, at least let the warrant get executed and understand what the charges are. You can say, I'm not going to say a word. They will send a public defender for you.
This is false imprisonment. I mean, do you know what it means to be imprisoned?
But wait, listen. I think just for your safety, mental health, for the safety and health of the sheriff, everybody, this warrant has been executed. It's like the next step is to face it.
What is it?
You're not I don't know.
Well, Sheriff Armstrong couldn't provide anything. He said that there was no affidavit, and he couldn't provide me any information. Do you realize what they did? They actually fraudulently tried to come here in the morning or around 12:30. Literally was under fraud. I mean, they tried to get me to come out of my house to talk to them about some issue in ELBERT County. They were going to arrest me. I mean, I have two dogs. I have two dogs that are very, very dependent upon me. I have a life here that I'm trying to survive, and I can't just. I mean, to be incarcerated under false imprisonment for false charges or for charges that they haven't even brought or told me what they're about, literally on the heels of a massive scandal of governmental racketeering, of a criminal complaint that exposes so much wrongdoing, and here they are now trying to intimidate me and harass me and tell me to go turn myself in for what?
I don't know. I don't know what the charges are. Do you have any idea what happened in ELBERT County that you could be getting an arrest for?
No, I don't. I mean, the only thing that could happen, it's actually, I was discussed in my 5-minute video that showed Investigator Collins and Investigator Inning come to my home fraudulently to try and arrest me, but they didn't have an arrest warrant, so they couldn't force me to come out of my house. But there was an issue that happened that's described in my criminal complaint regarding the fact that I went to go see my child Zisa, who they've restricted me and I haven't seen for 2 years. I went to go give her a present. I stopped at the school. There's no protection order There's no restraining order that says I can't go to the school and just drop off a present for my daughter. From that little incident that I saw my daughter for 30 seconds, we hugged, we had an embrace, and they told me to leave the school. They said I was no longer a guardian. My ex-wife told them all kinds of all this stuff. So I left very cooperatively, and I left. Within a few hours, all of a sudden they're issuing some fraudulent motion for abduction prevention measures. They said I was going to abduct my children and go to Israel and all this crazy stuff. And then all of a sudden, a couple hours after that, it was around 5 o'clock, the chief of police, Bergahan from Elizabeth Police Department, drove a 4-hour round trip out here to serve me a summons, pretending and suggesting I violated a protection order. But that summons, it says that I don't have to appear until January 5th or something. So there's nothing outstanding.
Is it possible that you misread that? Maybe it's sooner?
No.
I mean,
No, it's clear. It says January 5th, 2023. That's what it says. I just
have no idea. I think the best thing, though, would be to go to the sheriff's department.
I don't feel safe at the sheriff's department. No, they have not protected me. They've done all kinds of fraudulent things. They're not investigating.
This is the what if. But what if you went, turned yourself in? You've got all these people who are aware of your case. I don't.
Like Cash Jackson? Like Cash Jackson? You know Cash Jackson? He's been incarcerated for months. The veteran who was falsely charged of threatening a judge. I mean, that case is unbelievable. He's got thousands of supporters. You know, if I go turn myself in, they're going to keep me incarcerated they can keep me incarcerated for up to 3 months with no charges. I mean, with nothing. I mean, these people are very, very unhappy with me because I've exposed their governmental racketeering, Robin. I mean, this is serious stuff, and I'm legitimate. What I've uncovered and exposed is so scandalous, is so shocking. You know, it could reverberate throughout the judicial operations system for years to come if anything comes of this. I mean, they would like to see me gone. I had a conversation with Sheriff Armstrong 2 weeks ago where I told him I was scared for my life. I've been threatened. They told me, you know, there's lots of mine shafts where somebody could be disappeared to in Gilpin County. I mean, there's all kinds. I've had people following me. I had a silver truck and a white car parked out in front of my house and following me when I went to Walmart, different places. I mean, I am a rational, mentally healthy person. But the problem is here, I'm also rational in terms of, you know, trying to protect my family. I mean, I do not submit to the system at this point. You know, the sheriff's office is done some bad things. They're not doing their job. You know, they won't investigate a single thing, yet they'll come out here and try and falsely arrest me and falsely imprison me. I mean, you know, just even being in prison for falsely for 5 minutes is a massive, you know, violation of someone's civil rights. I mean, I'm not going to go to jail. I mean, I'm just about to start the eve of the Holy Sabbath, and I don't even know what's going on. Are they going to come out here and bang my door down with a battering ram and try and arrest me? I mean, I haven't done anything. I haven't gone anywhere. I'm afraid to leave my house. I mean, this is really a serious situation, and it's not just a matter of going to turn myself in. And I mean, you know, the Sheriff Armstrong didn't produce or provide any kind of legitimate affidavit, any kind of legitimate warrant. I asked Sheriff Norton. I'm trying to do my due diligence and trying to get ahead of everything and be diligent and so forth, and nobody's responding. So it's, you know, I'm trying my best, and I'm not getting any traction from anyone, you know, because of the types of allegations. You know, their colleagues, their lawyer colleagues, or their chief of police, you know, the chief of police of Elizabeth, you know, the chief judge in Jefferson County, the 2 magistrates that were involved in this, you know, in these false orders. I mean, I have all this evidence, and it's so clear, it's so crystal clear, so conclusive. You know, everyone can sit back and pretend, but this is the reality, and I challenge anyone to look at the evidence and to dispute it. Okay. And I demand a grand jury, a county grand jury, a special grand jury. I'll represent myself if I have to. You know, they have destroyed my life, destroyed my children, abused my children, exploited my family, exploited me financially, emotionally, everything. I mean, no one should have to deal with this. No, not even your worst enemy. I wouldn't wish this upon. What they have done is the most evil, decrepit kind of a thing. You know, you have to be a completely mentally, you have to be a sociopath or some sort of a sadistic person to be able to have no empathy and no no decency to actually, you know, or humanity to do actually what the right thing, or to follow the laws. You know, and
we've talked extensively about. Let me just say that we've talked extensively about being on the outside of this and trying to make a difference. You know, we don't really have that ability, and I think if you would engage, you know, go down, politely submit yourself for this warrant, find out what it's about, have a public defender.
No.
You're going to have to deal with the system, or the system's going to, you know.
No, the system is broken. The system does not protect the people, does not work for the people. It works for an elite class of lawyers and racketeers and judges and all these people that have a cottage industry off of profiteering to destroy families, okay? I will not submit myself to their jurisdiction. I will not turn myself into a place that I fear for my life. They're going to send me into the very lion's den of the people that I've alleged and named as criminal suspects in my very criminal complaint a day earlier. I mean, how absolutely absurd is that?
Okay, I think that you've made up your mind about not turning yourself in for all those reasons, and they are, you know, they make a lot of sense when you say them. It makes a lot of sense. But what I would urge as just a fellow human being is that if you are arrested, to not say a word. Nothing you say to the people who are arresting you will have any impact on your case. Nothing you say to the people booking you. There's no reason to. I would just stop talking and let the public defender that gets appointed in your situation help you, and follow that person's advice. So maybe we can all start to get some sort of traction on your case and get somebody to look at it and not dismiss you as somebody who's just ranting. Please
all right.
Hear me when I say that, Rabbi.
I hear you. I just, you know, it's...
You have to find your power. And sometimes we find our power through silence and through, you know, a rant at the people who are going to potentially come to arrest you, or if you're... You know, my feeling in having talked to Rep. Amabile today, who talked to the Gilpin County attorney, is that they are going to execute this arrest warrant. There's just no question about it. That's their next step. That's as far as they can think up the chain. They are not worried about the bigger picture of your case for lots of reasons, mainly from where they sit inside the system. So my heartfelt advice to you is, go and turn yourself in, and if you can't do that, and you're going to get arrested one way or another, hopefully with no violence, then calmly and, you know, work with a public defender, and maybe some other people can come to your aid. Hold on 1 second.
All right,
Rabbi. Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I appreciate your time. I know it was right on the tail end of the day at, you know, right before 5 o'clock.
I know, and I haven't been picking up your calls because I feel completely impotent to help you in any way, shape, or form. So, in any case, that's my advice, and that's really all I can say, and that I'm praying for you. Those are the things I can say. I
appreciate that, and let me just conclude then by saying a couple things myself. Absolutely not. There will never, ever be any kind of violence, because I'm not a violent person. So to even suggest that is a little bit offensive, and don't take that the wrong way. But of course not. And second...
That makes me so relieved. That makes me feel very relieved. And I wasn't thinking about it on your part.
Well, and secondly...
I'm a mother. I think about all situations. That's all.
Yeah. You're the only person that seems to have some humanity and some empathy, and I appreciate that. That's why I call you, and I'm trying to get in touch with Representative Amabile, because I believe that she can help, and I know that you feel like you can't help, or that you don't have any, there's no other choice than these the options you're suggesting. But I don't see that I don't see that as necessarily 100% wholly true, because look, one of the things I wrote in my letters is that rational legislators, something I read recently, they're required to address these kinds of matters. You know, there are committees on judicial oversight, etc. I mean, the judicial department is so out of control. You know, it's all controlled by lawyers. It's all controlled, you know, to benefit the state and state interests and profiteering and everything else. And, you know, we can argue about that at a later time if you want, but it's all documented. I have hundreds of other people and cases that I know about that have experienced similar persecution, similar exploitation. And basically,
but I hope you know that I'm not here to defend all of that, and I know what you're saying, that you want Representative Amabile to get involved. What Representative Amabile can do is get involved to help future cases by changing the system, maybe with some legislation, but the ability to intervene in your case simply does not exist.
I don't believe that. I just don't believe that, because, you know, there is a clear and present threat of future harm, a clear and present danger currently. My family is currently suffering, and the officials of our state have an obligation and a duty to my family in particular, okay, and also to the county, the people of the people of the counties, the people of the Colorado, people of the United States of America.
Well,
this is something beyond,
For what it's worth, and I know it's not worth much because it hasn't changed your situation, but we have advocated for you. It's just, you know, we've only gotten so far, and not far at all.
Well,
so,
just think about. All right. Well,
right?
just think about two things. You have the ability to open investigations, and you have the ability to withhold funding. So I would recommend withholding funding from the First Judicial District or from the Judicial Department and basically, you know, command Chief Justice Boatwright as the executive of the judicial branch to rein in the criminal activity of the officials under his command, and that's what needs to happen. I'm not going to say that I'm not turning myself in, but I'm going to say that I'm going to do my due diligence and try to discover what exactly they're talking about, what exactly is going on. I have a right to know what the accusation is. So don't take it as a firm, stern, you know, decision that I'm not going to turn myself in. But here I am on a 5:15 p.m. on a Friday afternoon now. What, do they want to hold me over the weekend? I'm not going to be able to see a judge and a magistrate anyway. I mean, that's just another part of the racketeering. They're going to now enter me into the criminal justice system, try and criminalize me, and now profit and benefit off of having me sit in jail for who knows how long.
Would you consider calling Sheriff Armstrong and saying that you will turn yourself in first thing Monday morning, 8 o'clock? You've got to deal with your dogs. You've got to.
I have nothing at this point. Sheriff Armstrong has proven that he's not doing his duties for the people. I mean, he literally doubled down and said I need to turn myself in, but yet doesn't produce any kind of an affidavit of warrant or a warrant or nothing. And you know, Sheriff Norton doesn't respond back to me, and nobody seems to be able to tell me what these charges are or what's going on. And yet they want to come here and intimidate me. I've had like 5 or 6 different times when I've had sheriff deputies here. You know, three different cop cars one day, 2 different sheriff. I mean, they're literally trying to intimidate me and silence me because of the nature of the severity of the accusations and the reality of the evidence that supports it. So, you know, this is a very serious matter. If I end up dead, okay, God forbid, what's going to happen then? It's just going to be swept under the rug, and they're, you know, going to have a little service for me, and that's it. You know, I mean, this. I fear for my life. I fear for my life to walk into the Gilpin County Injustice Center or in the Justice Center or whatever. You know, I don't feel safe with Sheriff Armstrong even now because he hasn't done his duties. They won't even open an investigation or review anything, but yet one small little accusation is made from a judge, and all of a sudden I'm a criminal and they want to arrest me. I mean, this is totally absurd. So, you know, I want to make it clear the severity of this.
I understand. I hear you, and you know, I really do hear you. I wonder if it's possible to have a public defender reach out to you and accompany you. I have no idea. Oh, listen, I am a low-paid staffer. I don't know. But I can look into that.
I would want my own private attorney. I would want them to allow me to select my own private attorney. I would not take a public defender because a public defender has more of the interests of the state at heart.
Okay, fair enough. Have you talked to an attorney since all of this?
I have no money. They've destroyed my life. I've got no unemployment, no money. I've got no resources left. They've sucked every last little bit of money, anything I've had. And the last little severance I was supposed to get from my company, they took $3,500, more than half of my severance, to give to my ex-wife on this fraudulent child support and maintenance. When you know what, I should have never been separated from my children in the first place. I was I was the primary parent for 6 years. My kids were getting straight A's in school. This whole thing is a fraud. This whole thing is a crime. Okay, my kids love me and I love them, and I'm the most upstanding, loving, dedicated fathers you'll ever meet in your entire life. And what I have been through, what my kids have been through, is so despicable and so outrageous. So no, I mean, it doesn't. There's no attorney here in my. I have a limited representation, and an attorney overseas in Israel, but that's to try and seek other options for tribunals outside of the United States, because it's so corrupt. What's going on here is so corrupt. And I'm sorry, but if you can't see it and you think I'm just some ranting angry father, it's not true. I am a dedicated.
I'm not characterizing you in my mind as just a ranting angry father. What I'm saying when I bring that up is that it becomes maybe a little bit easier to dismiss you, and that's what I worry about with you. Because I think it's hard for people to hear you if they decide that you're not rational. That's all.
Well,
that's all.
You know what? Take a look at the evidence and then make a decision. And actually
sometimes people don't do that. Human nature is that you make quicker judgments in the moment, and sometimes I think silence would really serve you well, and an attorney would really serve you well.
Well, I don't.
Those two things are what I think you need right now.
I don't have resources for an attorney, and I just want to say, I don't know if you read the transcript from that fraudulent abduction risk hearing that they want to prevent me from travel and confiscate passports and pretend that I was trying to abduct my children. And now they said I can't have any contact whatsoever with my children. But do you know what the magistrate said during that hearing? She knows full well the history of this case. Yeah, do you know what she says? She says,
Mr. Bellinsky believes that he owns these children. He still believes, in my estimation, that he owns Miss Galan, and how dare any of them not follow what he wants them to do.
I think Mr. Bellinsky, by the way, I think that's very disrespectful. She won't even call me rabbi. I think Mr. Bellinsky, he thinks he owns his children. Do you know who was the one who did all of the concessions, all of the amicability, all this stuff? I mean, I put my entire life on hold. I even stepped down in my level of observance of my religious aspects of religious life, because to try and accommodate my ex-wife. Everything I've done, I've been the one to give all the concessions, I've done everything. And you know what she says? I believe Mr. Bellinsky thinks he owns his children. In fact, in my estimation, I think he still thinks he owns Miss Galan. Do you know how sick that is? She thinks I own my ex-wife? I mean, I haven't been married for 8 years. Okay,
right.
All I care about is my children and having 2 loving homes. I've never tried to take them away from their mother. Though this has all come to head because of all of the malfeasance and all of the criminal activity and all the cover up and crimes that have been going on here. And this is the truth. This is the absolute truth, and all the evidence supports it. So I'll just leave it at that. But as far as I don't have resources for an attorney. When I say counsel, or when I'm consulting with friends and with professionals that aren't charging me. So I don't have an attorney. I don't have the ability. They have destroyed every possible resource I've had in my life. I've spent over $300,000 in the first year and a half, 2 years, having legal representation that did absolutely nothing. A week and a half after they determined there was no endangerment, all of a sudden now there's the higher bar of endangerment, and they put these restriction motions, which is just total fraud. More case fixing, more case churning, more. They tried to destroy me all by financial sanctions and all this stuff. I mean, the amount of bias and what they have done is so overwhelming and so conclusive. Nobody can dispute it. I challenge anybody to dispute my evidence. I challenge anyone. And that's why I believe it needs to go in front of a citizen special grand jury. And I will never let up on that particular aspect that I'm seeking. And that's why I believe the commissioners need to step up and do something exceptional in this case, which is we need to have a special citizen grand jury. I will represent myself as my own special attorney general, private attorney general if I have to. There's precedent going back to the 1800s on that. But anyway, I know you think I'm people think, so you know what, there's often times where I am silent. I let things go for several weeks. I didn't say anything, but you know what, and I tried to observe the holidays, the Jewish holidays, the best I could. Then all of a sudden there's this new thing, this new crime spree, this new fraudulent fake, restraining order. I mean, this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to criminalize me for being a loving father and telling the truth. And I will never stop. The truth, I will never, as a religious, faithful person, I will never bow down to these idols. I will never bow down. This is a sanctification of God's name. Okay? God is the ultimate judgment, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm prohibited from worshiping idols or bowing down to idols. I will never bow down to these idols. Okay? In my estimation, they are basically evil, completely anti-truth, anti-everything, anti-empathy, anti-family, anti-humanity. I mean, this is sick what's going on here, and so I can't be passionate enough to explain my position. I will not bow down to these idols. This is my faith. This is my religious faith and my family's faith, and they've destroyed it and ridiculed it, and I'm now going to be alleging hate crimes to say that I think I own my ex-wife. I mean, it's just sick. It's just sick, okay?
All right. I'm sorry I couldn't be helpful.
All right. Well, is there some way I can talk to Representative Amabile, because I really believe that she and Senator Tammy Story need to go to the President of the Senate, the House Speaker, and basically, demand that they withhold fundings or call some sort of committee together or do some sort of investigation, because the judicial branch is totally out of control. I mean, if I could show you, we want to spend an hour, I could show you what happened in my appeals case. It is so shocking to the core what they did to manipulate and try and cover up. I mean, I had four other orders I appealed in my appeals case that they never even talked about. They never even reviewed, because they want to sweep it under the rug and ignore it. It all had to do with bias and recusal of the judge and all these other things. There is so much here that could be a massive, all I want, I would just let everything go. You know what? Just pay me my damages, give me my children back, let me get out of here, and I would like to see the system change, but you know what? I'm not here for vengeance. I just want my kids back. I want truth and justice. I want my life back. I want to be some semblance of love and life and caring. I mean, what they have done to my children. Did you see those few pages of my daughter's love notes to me? You're the best dad in the world. You're my heart. You're my star. This is my love potion to you. I mean, all the love notes, that only goes back 2 years ago. All of a sudden, yeah. I mean, how in the world do you explain this, okay? How?
I don't know.
Well, I can tell you how. Everything I'm telling you is true. That's how.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, if you could please just let Representative Amabile know that I would very much like to speak with her, and I would very much appreciate if she could try and step up a little more and recognize that she has more power than she realizes. As my representative and with Tammy Story, and as far as the legislature is concerned, it's the legislator's job at this point, I believe, to hold the judicial branch accountable. And they are not going to do their job.
I'll pass that along, and I know that you spoke to the judicial group on discipline and things like that. So just move slowly, but I will.
Well, every day that no action is taken is further harm to my family. Okay, you can't make up time. My son did not have a bar mitzvah. I've not seen my daughter in 2 years. Now I can't even talk to my children. I'm afraid to even call my children. It was a setup. Like, all of a sudden I've been trying to reach my daughter for 2-3 weeks, wanted to give her birthday presents. All of a sudden, the day after they get this order entered, she starts calling me, and her mom tells her it's okay to call me. I'm afraid to pick up the phone. I can't even answer the phone for her because they say I'm not allowed to have any contact whatsoever now. Is that a legal and lawful order to put in? I'm not allowed to have any contact whatsoever? What have I done? What have I done? I've exposed the truth? I'm trying to get my life, my children protected from harm?
Well, I don't think you're gonna. I think you to understand what you're facing. You've got to go and face.
You've got to what?
You've got to go and face, and you need the help of an attorney.
Okay. Well, attorneys are what they subscribe their loyalty to the Bar Association. Okay. You got Chief Justice Boatwright, who's on the First Judicial Committee.
I I hear you, but I'm just saying at this point, I think going to face the charges with Sheriff Armstrong and getting a public defender
So
might be.
You know what? It's pretty shocking. It's pretty shocking to suggest that I should go to the very people who I've accused of all these criminal acts. Okay, I should go and be jailed, falsely imprisoned. Who knows if they'll poison me, kill me, put me false charges, keep me in jail for 5 months while my dogs die over here because I don't have anyone to take care of them, or all of a sudden I can't even claim unemployment even if I do get it resolved, because all of a sudden now they're going to keep me in jail because they want to retaliate against me, intimidate me, and silence me. And you know what? That's the truth. And if nobody can see that, it's pretty sad. And we have to have a voice, and something has to change, okay? And until somebody stands up, until the public, people are just afraid because of the way the government operates. It's either by force, by guns, in terms of their police force and law enforcement, or it's by paper, by their judicial, fraudulent actions, okay? Nothing that they have done has been legitimate, okay? There was never a reason to they ignored the evidence. They manipulated the evidence. All these semantic deceits. I could spend an entire rest of my lifetime, basically pointing out a million disgusting things that these people have done, and to try and corrupt the record, and to try and, just like this Tim saying that I think he still thinks he owns his wife. I mean, that's not even close to reality. But that's so anti-Semitic that I'm going to be alleging a hate crime now. I mean, this is unbelievable. This is really unbelievable. And I wish that people would have the courage, in government and in the legislature. Representative Amabile has much more power than she realizes, and I wish she would use it to help protect my family and the citizens of Gilpin County, because right now they're not. And to go talk to the attorney and suggest to conspire and suggest I should turn myself in and go get a public defender is not the answer. So please just give her my message. I appreciate your time. I'm sorry to take a half hour of your evening on a Friday.
It's all right. It's all right. Just know that I'm thinking about it.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate your prayers. All the best. Bye.